Advice on space in a relationship. TLDR, my boyfriend, 26M, and I, 25F, 1-year relationship from next month, have been in a rough patch ever since moving to a new country a month ago. So I left our new place to go back home for a while, 3-hour flight. And now I want to go back 2 weeks after, but I'm not sure how much time to give it. We started out really well. While it was difficult for us to find a rental at first, and for my partner to find a job, I work online, it all eventually fell into place. We love the city. We have the most beautiful home, and my partner is happy to have consistent work. We do have a bit of money stress, but it should get better now we're both on an income and have invested all we have needed to get set up. Anyway, the fights between us started occurring consistently since the beginning of January. As an anxious attacher, I felt him distancing himself more and more from me, and without realizing at the time, that triggered me to get on his case, likely too much. I'd always ask if we can talk things through, if we can be closer, why wasn't he doing this, why that, etc. I realize now my approach was unhelpful, as it just made him back further away from me. I would get upset when he spent an hour on his phone in the car after work, or if he didn't acknowledge me in social conversations, or if he spent hours on projects and hobbies but stopped spending time with me. I could be a bit passive-aggressive sometimes too. He would tell me that he had his own life. He compared me to his past relationships. He would say I cried too much or have issues, jealousy or trust, but there's a past there. He was seeing multiple people when we first met and I wasn't aware, plus trust issues from my upbringing, but I really feel I've really come so far with trusting him. Both of us would say unfair things in these arguments. We went against each other, rather than the problem, not having either one of our needs met. We'd go through all the situations back and forth, trying to be the one that's right. Now I see how counterproductive this is. It's just a battle of egos. I think after so much stress of moving and also continual arguments, I know my mindset became very negative towards him and geared towards, why aren't you language? I obviously can't speak for him, but I feel something similar from the way he would jab at me, always be sarcastic or interrogative in his language. I would cry and he would ignore me, which I can understand. I started to cry annoyingly a lot. I took everything very personally. I convinced myself he became sick of me, not realizing we just needed some time apart. I somehow forgot all the actions and words he would show his love with, like buying me flowers or making an effort to include me in his hobbies or cuddling me even when I was moody. He wasn't sick of me. When he told me he needed space, it was in a very heated argument, and he made the statement very aggressively. I freaked out. There had been so many arguments by that point. I also felt the need to my family. I felt alone in a new country and didn't know who to turn to. So I booked a flight, probably too hastily, to go to my parents. Not really knowing the next step, but just needed to feel safe. We spent time together before my flight and talked things through. We both agreed we need space and some time apart. He did say, and I agree with him, that I shouldn't have booked a flight so hastily but stayed, because only by being together we can fix issues. We can't just ignore the problem or run away. I agree. I think I was just so anxious and overwhelmed by all the fights and feeling alone. I do regret leaving him, my home there, and acting so hastily. But he also did assure me that he understood why I did it, and that it could be the best for us. We left on good terms, kissing each other, and feeling like how it should feel, how it once felt. That was 1 week ago. We're still in contact once a day after he finishes work. I do want to give him space. I'm also spending time reflecting on my own behaviors and habits. I'm looking for ways to do better, as well as focusing on the things, hobbies, interests that are important to me. I feel like I've had a few light bulb moments throughout the week, and I want to do better, so we can be happy, productive, and healthy in our relationship and individual lives. I started a small conversation with him about next steps, and he said he was unsure, that it's hard to give clear view on what's the next plan. I don't want to be in the same situation we just got ourselves out of ever again, and I am sure you feel the same. He also said he's curious to know what my opinion is. He said that maybe we can work on the situation a bit, change something around. I feel like I need space still, but I also want you to be in a good space/place. Then he asked me if I have any ideas. I do miss my home there, though it's only been a month, and my things, and of course, I miss him. I want to book a flight that goes back there in almost a week's time. But am I rushing to go back? Should I wait for him to give me a proper cue to book a flight back? Or make a clear suggestion and assure him that I will respect his space a lot more going forward?